it. Step back from everything. Step back from Paul Skenes' latest masterpiece. Step back from taking 2 of 3. Step back from everything and hear me out today. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning from Milwaukee. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or hockey. I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 1, Brewers 0, which was not the story. Skenes with 7 no-hit innings, 11 strikeouts, a walk, and a hit batter. Unbelievable. All of this, my friends. I sat down at the press box at American Family Field after returning from interviews in the visiting clubhouse, and I just looked at the screen like I didn't know what to say. If it hadn't been for Andrew McCutchen, I wouldn't have had a lead. As it was, this was what Kutch said when I asked him, plain and simple, what are we witnessing here?
I mean, it's made for TV, you know. What are you gonna get? You know, he's putting himself in a place to where the expectations are always been high, but they're gonna continue to climb. You know, people are gonna have an expectation every time of him going out and doing what he's doing, and it seems to continue to get better, not necessarily by what he's doing as far as his numbers, but the way I'm looking at it is how he's sequencing his pitches. When he needs to get the big pitch, he gets the big pitch when he needs it. The big out gets the big out when he needs it. And that's something that I'm seeing. He's not going out there trying to strike out everybody. You know, he's just trusting his stuff and throwing. You know, and he's so I'm seeing a lot of good things. The command seems to be getting better, and it just seems like with every start, you're just like, man, this is.
He should know, huh? Former National League MVP, former face of the franchise, a guy whose star still shines brightly and still knows how to carry himself through it. There were sentiments shared in that spirit on both sides, from the Pirates and from the Brewers. Pat Murphy, Milwaukee's manager, real affable type, real down to earth, just basically said he was great. We thought we might have had him on the ropes. 63 pitches through 3 innings. He adjusted, and he was great. Everyone, it seems, appreciated what happened here, but not really. And I'm not going to turn this into a negative. I'm not going to turn a glaring, glowing, glorious, if you think about it, positive, into finger-wagging at fans. But I will say this. If you watched that, or luckier still, you were there in Milwaukee to see it with your own eyes, and then from there, saw Yasmani Grandal come up with the big RBI double, Jack Sawinski running around from first base to score, great wave by third base coach Mike Ribello. If you saw Colin Holderman, one of the best dudes around, who struggled a lot the past couple of weeks, get out of that bases-loaded jam with 2 pinpoint sweepers to strike out William Contreras, of all people, who's having a terrific season here. And then Aroldis Chapman comes in and just blisters the Brewers 1-2-3 in the 9th. If you experienced that live in whatever form, and your takeaway from it is something nutting, or something Shelton, or something analytics, take a break. Meaning from sports, from fandom, because these games are what it's all about. These are the rewards for the tough times. These are the reason you sit at PNC Park through a rain delay and watch your team lose 7-0 on a Monday night against some interleague opponent. These are the occasions that should make you smile. If you go to a movie or to a Broadway show, or you just toss something on Netflix at night, and you're not entertained ever at any point. You're not happy at any point. You stop doing it. You don't go see it again. Or in the Netflix case, you stop the binge at episode 1. This was it. This was everything. This was a pitcher who's beginning to look like he's beyond generational, when the only comparison points that anyone can raise historically from a data perspective are Nolan Ryan, Sandy Koufax, Walter Big Train Johnson, and he's out there, he's wearing your city's name in script across the front of his chest and your city's colors, and representing your city's 143-year-old franchise. And you're sweating about what might happen to him in the year 2030? Lots of people don't realize this. Some do, but lots don't. That when you have a player, an internal player, a draft pick, you keep his rights for 6 years. Now, that doesn't mean he would stay here for 6 years and become a free agent. If you can't sign him, then he's probably going to be gone after 4 or 5, so that you can acquire something in a trade. But who thinks about this in any other walk of life other than following the Pirates? People lease their cars now for 2 years, 3 years at a time. No one's thinking about what their next car is going to be. Same with buying houses or renting somewhere. You don't know that you're going to stay there forever. How about getting married, for crying out loud? You're not even thinking what's going to happen to your marriage by the year 2030. But you can't watch a 22-year-old kid light up the sporting world without thinking about 2030? Come on. And don't even get me started on the pulled him from the no-hitter nonsense. Look at your calendar. See those 4 digits at the top? 2024. There are mountains of evidence about pitch counts protecting pitchers' health. And that actually applies double to flamethrowers. The ones who get hurt the most often are the ones who are throwing the hardest. Skenes was at 99 pitches. He showed Shelton and Oscar Marin signs of fatigue. Shelton went over and talked to him. He acknowledged feeling that fatigue. You still had Holderman and Chapman out in the pen. That's it, kids. That's it. I'm not going to lie. When he was pulled, I never thought a second millithought about it. That's not even a word. Of course he was pulled at that point, because it's not 1964 still. Shelton afterward answered unflinchingly and unapologetically that it was an easy call. And there's a reason for that. It was an easy call. Now, I did ask Skenes afterward if he'd have liked a crack at finishing a no-hitter. Was there any part of you that wanted to go back out?
Yeah, I mean, definitely wanted to finish it, but, throwing every 6 days, 5 days, whatever it is now, definitely understand that side of it.
How good is it to see those guys finish it for you the way they did, Holderman and Chapman?
Yeah, I mean, that's their job, and they do it really well. So, wasn't worried at all when I came out of the game. I knew that they would finish it.
Good for him. That is exactly what he should say. Exactly. Both ends of it. Meaning that he'd want to continue because of the competitor in him, but he also understands that pitching every 5th or 6th day isn't what he was doing when he was going every week for LSU. And also the other, not so small matter of the Pirates wanting him to be available to pitch through the entire season, in particular playoffs if needed. All of this stuff's out in the open. In that environment, it's wholly understood in that environment. This is good. It's okay to enjoy it. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern, that's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. Today's J1Q, I'm happy to say, comes with a happy tone. David asks, DK, is this amongst the greatest performances you've ever witnessed? I won't ask you to rank them, but that must have been something to be in the building for that on this day. It's up there, David. You have to bear in mind that I've covered Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Troy Polamalu, Ben Roethlisberger, the greatest single athlete in our city's history, in the form of the greatest hockey player who ever lived, whose name I won't even mention here because I never, ever, ever want to be quoted or paraphrased in any way as comparing him to anyone else. I've seen championships delivered, and in the 5 Olympics I've covered, I've seen gold medalists do extraordinary things representing our country and our city. And all of this that I'm citing was being there. Right there, eyeballs on the scene. And this was right up there, but with an exception. Because when I think of what Paul Skenes has done, I don't think about what he just did here in Milwaukee. I don't think about what he did to the Cubs at Wrigley Field. I don't think about a week ago or a month ago. I think about the whole thing. Guys, this is someone who has made 11 starts, has a 1.9 ERA, and I might as well go through all these numbers I have on this list. 89 strikeouts, 13 walks in 66 and a third innings, 7 home runs allowed. His opponents are slashing 202, 251, 319. His average fastball velocity, just for fun, is 99.1 miles per hour. He's doing things at this stage of his career that, and I mean this in the most literal way possible, no one has done. He doesn't look generational as much as he looks once in a lifetime. And that's not because of what he did here, because ordinary pitchers can have extraordinary performances. What they can't have is 11 of them to open their career. So I see it way more as a body of work than I do as something where I'll be able to say years from now, oh yeah, I was there that day in Milwaukee when ... because already this has made you forget what he did at Wrigley. And it just keeps adding on and adding on. But I'm not going to lie. I took some mental snapshots of the scene, trying to remember certain things that I'd want to have come back to me. And I don't usually do that. I have a lot of work to do at these events. I don't have much time at all to invest in anything extra, to be honest with you. But this was something. This was really something. And I hope I'm getting that point across today, if not necessarily with what I'm saying, then with how I'm saying it. A thing like this is why I got into the sports component of journalism. I loved the drama. I loved being able to dig underneath to find the sub-story within the story, and then to share that first in writing and then through this show with both accuracy and energy that matches, or at least rivals, what it is that I'm describing. Today, on this show, I can promise you I failed at that. I did. Kutch, on the other hand, totally nailed it. That's what Kutch does. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody who listens to Daily Shot of Pirates. Have a happy weekend, including all of you miserable people who found something to complain about yesterday.